August the 8th, 1983. It was on this date, at this very house, that Dr. Muzaffar Ahmad Saab was tragically shot dead and martyred, later to be discovered by his wife and young son. Dr. Muzaffar Ahmad Saab was a simple family man who lived with his wife and young son in Canton, Detroit. He was a peace-loving individual and a sincere and devout member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. A physician by trade, he practiced at the Wayne County General Hospital.
The way that the story started was a year prior to that. There was an imam, a Maulvi that came from Pakistan. He became an imam of one of the local mosques, local African-American mosques. And there he began preaching the sentiment of basically hatred and prejudice towards Ahmadis. There was an upcoming Jalsa, a Jalsa Salana that was to be held in Detroit that year. And he had put together a plan to disrupt that Jalsa. And he engaged two of the members of that community to execute this plan. The plan was to martyr members of our community and then burn the mosque. So the way they carried it out was 2 months prior to this Jalsa, there was a phone call that was made to this very mosque. And one of those members called to ask if someone in the mosque could give them information about Ahmadiyya. We were holding meetings at the time in preparation for the Jalsa. It was upstairs in this very building. I was sitting right next to the phone actually when it rang. And one of our members picked the phone up, took the request, and actually asked our membership who would like to volunteer to give this person information about Ahmadiyya. And Dr. Muzaffar Shaheed raised his hand and said, please give him my information. This person contacted Dr. Muzaffar, and Dr. Muzaffar invited him to his home. He befriended this person and started communicating and teaching him about Ahmadiyya. 1 week prior to the day, it was August 8th, 1983, this person left a hat. Weeks prior to, left a hat at Dr. Muzaffar's house. And on that day, this would be the excuse to go back and actually kill Dr. Muzaffar Shaheed. En route, they called Dr. Muzaffar and asked him if they could come and if he could come and pick up his hat. He went to the home, rang the doorbell. Dr. Muzaffar was entertaining a guest there at dinner. When he came to the door, this person shot Dr. Muzaffar right in the foyer of his own home. And that's where he actually died.
This barbaric event was a consequence of prejudice and sheer intolerance. The two perpetrators, Calvin Jones and William Kane, continued on their rampage and proceeded here to the Ahmadiyya Mission House on Wyoming Street.
They broke in the upstairs window from the back of the building and began to dispense and scatter the gasoline all over the upstairs floor. And they came to the downstairs and went to the front of the building and began to scatter gasoline all over the building again, making their way towards the back of the building where there was a large door from which they planned to escape after setting fire to the mosque. But they didn't realize that there was actually a gas water heater in the back of the building that had a pilot lit. So as they sprinkled their gasoline, the gas pilot actually ignited the fumes, and the entire mosque went up in flames while they were in the mosque. They attempted to get out of the back door, but they couldn't. There was a very large steel door. They tried to get through the door, but the door handle was broken. The door handle was broken for years, and we used to take the handle off and actually set it on the shelf just next to the handle. In the midst of all of the commotion, they couldn't find the door handle. And they had guns. They tried shooting holes through the door. They couldn't get through. It was a solid steel door. And eventually, they went into the bathroom where the water heater was. The bathroom was enclosed in concrete, where they actually died as a function of smoke inhalation. So justice was actually served right in that mosque. Both Calvin Jones and William Kane, the two perpetrators of all of this, both came to their demise in the mosque that they tried to set on fire. The entire mosque was burned to nothing. It was, the upstairs completely collapsed. There was no upstairs. You could stand in that area right there, look up and see the ceiling 2 floors above you. The entire floor had burned down and disintegrated. So just behind me there were, in cardboard boxes, about 2,000 Quran Sharifs. There was a refrigerator that was located in this area in the kitchen. You couldn't tell it was a refrigerator because it had actually melted as a function of the heat. But those Quran Sharifs, those 2,000 Quran Sharifs, not a single one of them burnt. And even today, we use them in this mission house and also in our new mosque that was built in Rochester, Michigan. So it's a miracle that the entire building was burned. There was nothing left other than the brick and concrete of this building. Yet 2,000 Quran Sharifs sit in cardboard boxes in the middle of the mosque.